It's time now for Premier's Picks once again this season. It was a hearty negotiation at the Dog's Breakfast with Premier Brad Wall to do this again this season. But I'm glad he obliged when I just said, "Hey, Premier's Picks." He said, "Yeah, you want me? Yeah, okay, we're good." That was our negotiation with Premier Brad Wall.
I was hoping you'd ask. Yeah, absolutely, same fee as last year for all of us. Eh?
Yep. Absolutely. So we're having the fans weigh in, however, this year.
Well, I kind of like that. I think that's how Premier Picks started.
Yes, it was.
I know you guys were kicking around a name change like Premier versus Rider Nation, but we're pretty close to an election, and that didn't sound that good. I didn't like my chances.
Is the Gopher in this year?
Yes, yeah. Is the Gopher
or Angus? Angus. Whatever happened to Angus?
Well, Angus is comfortably ensconced in Prince Edward Island, if you recall.
Oh, yes. He's still there?
In a garden. He'll be there. He's there, yeah. Angus is there. There was another Rider garden gnome named Winthorpe or Windthorst or something. Yes.
Winthorpe.
And I don't know where he is. He had for a while, I think, Gary the King, wasn't he picking whatever, the opposite of the garden gnome, I think, and that also didn't work very well for him. He's tried everything. Yeah, coins, go against the gnome, sort of that George Costanza, kind of do everything opposite. Nothing's worked for him.
Eventually you have to have some smarts.
That's right, Woodsy. Well, I can't comment on that. It's too close to the
Eventually you gotta follow this thing a little bit. Instead of just throwing something out there, just putting teams on a dartboard and throwing it out there.
You're kind of right. The WWE is important, but if it's getting in the way of your CFL research, maybe you ought not to pick.
It's been a while since we have been able to chat football, Premier Wall. Lots happened. The Calgary Stampeders are the Grey Cup champions. Bo Levi Mitchell is now the number one rated player in the CFL after the CFL top 50 last night. What are your thoughts on the Calgary Stampeders getting all the good headlines?
Bo Levi Mitchell's obviously a pretty good quarterback. There's no question about it. But is it a little bit early to give him the nod for number one? They're the Grey Cup champs, and so they deserve all the plaudits, all the accolades that they're getting and are going to get. Now the season starts, and they're still going to be the Grey Cup champs for the year. So, but they're going to have to earn it now. And I whatever they've been getting up to date, though, I think we have to accept, bite our lip, and just listen to the accolades.
Premier Wall with us. Premier's Picks back again this season, asking you to weigh in. The fans at 306-306. Your four winners this week. It looks like Saskatchewan and Edmonton are getting a lot of support as they take on Winnipeg and Toronto. Another thing I have to talk about this. Sorry, everybody, but what do you think of the Oakland Raiders offseason with Amari Cooper being their draft pick?
Well, first of all, I think that's exactly the right question to ask. I think we could carve out a bit of a segment for the Oakland Raiders every Premier's Picks. I think that's fair. I think most people want to know what's going on in Raider Nation and Rider Nation. And Jamie, you follow it closer than I do, but I think they had a great off season. I love Cooper as the number one pick. He's going to be great. Carr would look good last year. He's got more people to throw to. I like getting Crabtree from San Francisco as the entire 49er roster seemed to want to get out of that.
Remember that? I remember that draft.
I remember it. We picked Haywood Bay.
Darius Hayward Bay. Michael Crab. There was the Raiders pick. Everybody was thinking they're going to go receiver. Yep. There was Percy Harvin. There was Jeremy Macklin. There was Michael Crabtree.
Oh, there was Jeremy Macklin. That's right.
And they went with Darius Hayward Bay.
Oh, that was when I watched the draft live. I still do whenever I can. Now it's prime time. That was still a Saturday draft, and there I am on the couch with a cup of coffee and thinking, what are you doing? And with Al Davis would always draft speed, and if you could catch, that was just an added bonus. Unfortunately for Darius, there was no bonus.
Let's go from Darius to Darian. Healthy this year going in. What do you think the Riders heading into the season?
Well, he looked pretty good. Couple comments. One, we get to see him in preseason. That looked pretty good. I have a good friend who was able to go to a lot of camp, and he just said he's just making all the throws and looked really good there. So I'm pretty hopeful. Plus, heaven forbid he's needed, but Kevin Glenn also looking pretty good, and I think somebody said it, maybe it was during a telecast, is he not maybe perhaps the best backup quarterback in the history of the league? He looked really good too. So I feel good about quarterback position, but how do you feel, Woodsy and Jamie? You guys follow it closely. You were at camp. Should we be a bit concerned about the O-line? Is there some new folks there, and we've lost some people, and what do you think?
Yeah, I think the O-line has to be a concern. I think the regulars that are in there are going to be fine, but it's tough to play an 18-game regular season. We've seen Chris Best go down with injury. Xavier Fulton, his knees are bothering him. He's going to need a break. Same with Levi Adcock. And Brendan Tammon said it himself. They can maybe cover one injury. If there's more than that, they're going to be in some trouble. So, it would be nice to keep searching the waiver wires and see who's available, and maybe stock up on a couple of extra old linemen just in case. That's for sure.
Because we think the Grand Coulee Combine, Ben Heenan is taken with the Colts, do we not?
Well, I was wondering, Premier Wall, if Think Sask is going to sponsor the Colts this season, and with Ben Heenan being down there.
No, but we might pick some sort of trade war with Indiana, with that state. Try to figure out how to get him back, or maybe regulation make it so that he can only play here. I don't know, something untoward.
I just like to know if the Premier is going to at all predict a Saskatchewan loss this year, or are they going to go 18-0?
They're going to go 18-0. That's pretty clear. Okay. At least for the purposes of this job.
I write it down on the
in my job. Absolutely, it's 18-0. You write it down, Jamie. You said
right before you even call. I have Saskatchewan written down as your pick.
It's full disclosure.
Yep, full disclosure.
We're going to get a shirt.
Let's get to the picks now with Premier Brad Wall for week 1 of the CFL season, as Gary the King Nickel, who is also the co-host of the Fan Zone, is here as well. Gary, we weren't too hard on you this week anyways.
Well, that's good. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'm
nice. Really happy to be back and doing my job of making you guys look good, and looking forward to a basement finish again as per my contract with the Premier's Picks.
As we go to the picks, week 1, Ottawa. The Ottawa Red Blacks against the Montreal Alouettes. Premier Wall.
Montreal.
MTL. Gary.
Montreal.
Oh, no.
Come on, guys.
We're off to a great start.
Ottawa. Are you picking
Ottawa, Jamie?
Ottawa.
Wow.
Full faith that Ottawa in year 2 is going to be a lot better than year 1. And Montreal's QBs,
that's
nothing.
The Jamie Nye lock pick?
Yep. No. That's not the lock pick.
Okay.
The lock pick is coming up. Hamilton against Calgary in a Grey Cup rematch. Premier Wall.
Go ahead, King. You go first.
Well, thank you, Mr. Premier. I'm going to take Calgary because I know you will as well, and I'm starting to think I might ride your coattails a bit.
Stamps.
As we all agree, Calgary over the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Edmonton will be my lock of the week against the Toronto. Yeah,
that's my lock too.
Really,
Gary?
Well, so much for my logic. I'm going with Toronto.
Oh,
that running back situation. It's got me worried.
So much for my logic could be sort of could have been the standing quote for the last number of seasons for you in Premier's Picks.
Look out, basement. I hope I still have my room there.
And finally, full disclosure, Saskatchewan over Winnipeg. Any score differential you want to weigh in there, Premier Wall?
I think we're going to win by 10. I think this defense is fantastic. I'm going to just go out there and say I think this defense is going to be the best in the league. I'm pretty hopeful about it, and defense does win championships, and I think it also wins this game pretty handily.
And Gary Nickel.
I agree with the Premier. I really like the defense, but I'm thinking I'm picturing a rough start, so I'm going to take Winnipeg just on a whim.
He is the co-host of the Fan Zone. You can call on Saturday during the game as the Riders pull ahead and ridicule him at 1-877-300-7275.
The head of the Fan Zone is the leader of the Fan Zone is not, as it turns out, a very good fan.
Exactly.
First game out, Bombers.
Hold on. I do that just for the province because I have the worst luck ever, and every team I pick loses. So I do that for the province of Saskatchewan, Mr. Premier.
Here's open.
Well, Premier Wall, there it is. Week 1 of Premier's Picks won't be Wednesday next week because it's Canada Day, and we'll all be out celebrating. So we'll further negotiation on when it is next week. So stay tuned. Premier Wall, thank you so much.
Thanks, Jamie. Take care, guys.
There is Premier Brad Wall on Premier's Picks. You can weigh in 306-306, and the fans have a vote this year. Who are the 4 winners of the games this week? Those games are Montreal-Ottawa, Calgary-Hamilton, Edmonton-Toronto, and Saskatchewan-Winnipeg. Who are the 4 winners this week? Text 306-306 right here on 980 CJMA.